In this video, I just want to make sure that everyone's using the proper type of calculator you need to be able to calculate these standard deviations when we're having to do that Pythagorean formula. So I got this problem number 3 on Schoology. I did it in another video, but I want to just show you how to use a calculator on your computer. So let's set the problem up first. We got the mean SAT verbal score at 425 with a standard deviation of 100. And the mean math score at 475 with a standard deviation of 100. So to figure out the combined math and verbal, like math plus verbal, you would just add math and verbal together, right? The two averages, 425 plus 475. And I'm going to go to this desmos.com/scientific, and I'll leave a link up on the Schoology page and on this video as well. And it should look like this. And you don't really need it for this one, like just type it into Google. Could have got it fine. And you get 900, right? So 900 would be the total average score. If someone were to combine the math and verbal together, that would be your total average score right there. Now the standard deviation of the math plus the verbal, remember when you combine two standard deviations, you need to do that Pythagorean theorem of statistics, which is the square root of 100 squared plus 100 squared. It's the 2 squared, right? Like the square root of m squared plus v squared, math squared plus verbal squared. And I've noticed a lot of people struggled putting this into like Google, trying to figure it out, 100 squared plus 100 squared, or if there's decimals, it gets a little tougher even. But if you're using this program right here, the Desmos Scientific, it makes it a lot easier because you just hit the square root right there. And you can see I'm inside the square root. I do 100 squared, and that a squared puts a little squared at the top. And then plus 100 squared. And I hit enter, and I get 141.4213, which was the correct answer. $141.42. And this just makes it a lot easier in general. Like if the two standard deviations are something weird, like the square root of 22.4 squared plus 19.7 squared, you'll be able to, squared. You'll be able to get it like that. So just use that instead of trying to type it into Google and trying to do square root with SQRT and all that. Just make sure you have a decent calculator for this test because you're going to need one. All right, that is all I needed to do on this video. One more quick thing I wanted to show on the Desmos calculator, and I'm using number 1D from the outline, and you can watch the video on this playlist, but I wanted to show you how to put this in a calculator on the scientific calculator. I'm mainly looking at this standard deviation here where we had to take the square root of the 3x squared and the y squared because we did 3x minus y. Remember, you always add standard deviations. So I want to put the 3x squared and the y, so 3 times 12 squared plus 16 squared. And the 3 times 12 is all squared, right? I want to make sure you know how to put that in as well. So let's go to a scientific calculator here. And the square root of, and I'm going to do parentheses, 3 times 12 squared plus, and it was 16 squared, right? Yeah, 3 times 12 squared plus 16 squared. Oops, I went outside of the, so I got to go back in. Plus 16 squared. And you see I got 39.395. I ended up getting on here. So that's how you get one of those in the calculator where you have to multiply 2 numbers and then square them. Just make sure you use the parentheses on there and you should be good. All right.